Hey guys, it's Merce. Welcome back to Harpies in the Trees. As you can tell, my voice is not syncing up with my lips, and that is because I lost all of the audio for this unboxing. I didn't want to try and, fake it and reshoot it. So instead, I'm just going to go ahead and narrate to you kind of what's happening and what my thoughts were when I was doing this unboxing, and I hope that it's okay. So if you notice right here, I'm wearing a pin. It is from the October box. It's from the Accursed Library. It is a cross, and it has an A and an L on it, and a book and a skull. And I really like it. It's super cool. I was really excited to get it in the October box. Okay, so let's start this unboxing. I, of course, always need to use my jade unboxing knife, which was a birthday present from one of my friends, and it's just become really handy to do all of these unboxings and opening letters and nice pop. But it does this really fun thing. Because it's too thick, whenever you shove it between two pieces of cardboard that have been taped together, it always has a really nice pop to it. Okay, so for November, I can already see that there's a different type of bookmark this time, but we can see the regular stuff. There's the used book, which is always wrapped in a piece of brown paper, and it has like their seal and wax on it. And there's always a striped package, which usually has the beverages. So in every subscription box, we get a chocolate bar from Wickedly Welsh, and it's always different, unusual flavors most of the time. And this time it is orange and honeycomb. Here we have our striped paper bag, and it usually contains our beverages. And it has a sticker on it that's just teeth, which I really think is kind of funny because it's a bag of beverages, so it kind of goes together. So originally it started off with 3 hot chocolate packets, but just recently they've changed to adding tea and coffee, which I really do appreciate. The hot chocolate, I don't know, I like it, but 3 packets of hot chocolate would be kind of a lot for me. I don't think I would get through all of them in a month. They also have a new spoiler card. It has a really nice gradient on it. And this is our new book, and it's called Soon by Lois Murphy. If you're out after dark, you're already dead. On winter solstice, the birds disappeared, and the mist arrived. The inhabitants of Nebula quickly learn not to venture out after dark, but it is hard to stay indoors. Cabin fever sets in, and the mist can be beguiling too. Eventually, only 6 remain. Like the rest of the townspeople, Pete has nowhere else to go. After he rescues a stranded psychic from a terrible fate, he's given a warning. He will be dead by solstice unless he leaves town soon. There are some reviews here also in the back, like a combination of Josh Malerman's Bird Box and the brilliant crime novels of Jane Harper. Disarming, I had to carry on reading through the night. One of the finest horror novels I've read this decade, skillfully balances genuine scares with an exploration of human obsession and grief. I did think it was funny though that he rescues a stranded psychic from a terrible fate because she's a psychic. So maybe she would have known she was going to be stranded, but I'm just kind of playing around. But the story didn't really seem that interesting, but actually when I read what the spoiler card said and just kind of like how the guys at the Abominable Club put it into perspective, it actually sounds really interesting. I think that synopsis just really didn't do it justice for me. So the next thing we're looking at here is a magazine by Black Static. It's a UK magazine. It has new horror fiction, book and film reviews, interviews, and artwork as well. I do have another issue of Black Static that came, I think, in the September box. Ooh, so now we're gonna get to this chunky boy. It seems like all of the used books that Abominable sends me are like pretty thick books. They also have a new bookmark design for this month, or maybe going forward. It has this glitchy kind of cyberpunk vibe to it. And on the back is a microfiction, as usual. It says, "The coroner pulled back the sheet. It was a young girl. She wore a demure white dress, her skin soft and unblemished, aside from the angry purple bruise around her neck. The coroner took the dress and gave it as a gift to his wife that night. He woke to the sensation of fingers tightening around his throat. "You shouldn't have taken my dress," his wife said, her neck purple and swollen. So, one thing that comes to mind is like, why would you take a dead person's piece of clothing and give it to your significant other? Because that's, I mean, at least I think I would want to tell you at first. I'd be like, hey, I found this amazing like velvet coat, but it was on a dead person on the side of the road, but do you want it? I think I would let them make that choice, you know? Okay, so now we get to the fun part, which is unboxing the used book, which, you know, I just love the way they wrap this. I've talked about this before. I just love it. It's I like it because it feels like a gift, and it also has this feeling of a bygone era with the wax seal and the brown paper. So the book for this month that I got is James Herbert, The Secret of Crickley Hall. And at first I didn't really recognize it, but then it hit me that I think that I watched this TV movie. It was by the BBC, and it was The Secret of Crickley Hall, and I really liked it. I enjoyed it. It was, you know, a haunted house tale, so I really liked it. So I'm pretty excited now. You can see on my face, it's like dawned on me that like, okay, I recognize this, and now I know what this is, and it's a haunted house story, so I'm pretty stoked. So, you know, just like haunted house stories, gothic haunted house stories, I just love them so much. Synopsis says, would you stay in a haunted house for more than one night? I would personally, yes. Would you live in a place where ghostly things keep happening? Yes, definitely. Where a cellar door you know you locked the night before is always open the following morning, where hushed whispering is heard, where white shadows steal through the darkness, where the presence of evil is all around you. Would you? Should you? Well, yes, I would, and I probably shouldn't, but that's me. The Calays did, but they had their reasons. They should have known better. As the terror mounts, they began to regret their decision. As the horror rises, they realize their very lives are at risk. And so is their sanity, for the secret of Crickley Hall is beyond all nightmares. And honestly, from watching the BBC movie, it wasn't that scary. So I'm hoping that the book is like just, you know, really intense. There is a review here from The Guardian, and it says, this is a powerfully disturbing read. 2 pages in, the reader is hooked, and Herbert has done his job. The horror. The horror. That is really promising. That has me really worked up. I'm very excited. This has been a really good 2 months because for the October box, I also received a type of haunted house story. I don't think it's like it was the grip. The grip, in the grip of it, or the grip of it by, I can't pronounce his name, Jacques Jamp. I think, I'm sorry, I know that's totally wrong, but I got that book, and it you know, it's about a house that's kind of, you know, has some, I don't know, weird intentions, and is kind of terrorizing this young couple. So I'm all about that. And I also got a gothic magazine, and now I have The Secret of Crickley Hall. So I am a really, really happy little beastie, I'll tell you. All right, so now let's read the Abominable Book Club spoiler card. It says November 2019, soon by Lois Murphy. The Mist meets Twin Peaks in this strange and atmospheric story. It's 1998, and the small Australian town of Nebula is descended upon by a strange ghostly mist, 1 part literary fiction to 2 parts horror. This is a deep and engrossing tale of isolation and dread. Murphy's prose is both beautiful and chilling, so make sure you've got a hot drink to hand. Okay, so I think what I had changed my mind about was how the guys referred to it as the mist meets Twin Peaks. This coming together of them sounds extremely intriguing, so that's really what changed my mind on this. Black Static number 71. Black Static returns for year 2 with a magazine chock full of creepy fiction, reviews, and art. Diamond, Saw, and Residue are standouts of this issue. Also included is Laura Morrow interviewing Paul Tremblay, author of our recently featured book, Growing Things. So I also like too that if they've sent you a book that's an anthology, or they're sending you a Black Static magazine or something like that, they usually have like a recommendation or one of their favorites that they would suggest to you to read, so I really like that a lot. So I'm really happy about everything that I got for this month, and I'm looking forward to the Secrets of Crickley Hall. And because it's a haunted house story, it's definitely going to get bumped up in my list, and that's just kind of what happens even if I don't really wanted to. Like most people, you just have your comfort food, and this is basically my comfort food. So just to recap on everything that we have here, we have Soon by Lois Murphy, and it's described by the Abominable guys as The Mist meets Twin Peaks. So that's pretty cool. It's also taking place in the 90s, which seems to be super hot right now. We also have James Herbert, The Secret of Crickley Hall, which I mentioned is a haunted house story. I believe it takes place in an English manor. So I am really, really looking forward to that. I just can't wait. And then we have the Black Static magazine, which I love the cover of this. It has a lamb with the face of what sort of looks like a man, I think, and then the boy has no neck. He's just literally like no neck. So interesting. And then we also had the chocolate, and we had our bookmark series. Okay, so I'm looking at the spoiler card again, and it says Spookmark Series 2 number 1. So I guess this is going to be a whole entire new series of bookmarks, so that's really cool. And this short fiction, this microfiction, was called Demure, and that was written by Owen Morgan, who is one of the proprietors over here at the Abominable Club, so that's cool. Yes, and then chocolate, tea, and coffee, which is going to make these winter nights really, really comfy. So looking forward to it. Okay, so that's everything. I thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this unboxing. I am so sorry about the audio. I will try to make sure that doesn't happen again because it is really annoying. And so I hope everything is going very well for you. I hope this upcoming week is going to be a good one, and I will talk to you next time.